So, if you clicked on this video, you're probably not in the best mental state of mind when it comes to your trading career. And this is basically going to be another raw video of me simply sitting here and having a conversation with you guys. You seem to be enjoying these videos, and I do as well. Whenever there's somebody that I enjoy watching on YouTube, when they do these raw videos, it simply just helps me, especially if it's about a subject that I thought I was alone with, if that makes sense. So, as entrepreneurs or self employed individuals, we go through a lot of these same struggles, mental battles, and all the doubt that comes with it. And so whenever there's somebody else in the same situation who opens up and talks about it in this raw format, I think it's great. So I want to be a part of that too. Now, again, the video is titled "Watch This Before You Quit Trading," and that's what we're going to be talking about. So everybody that you know and look up to in this industry has thought about quitting. So if you're currently wondering whether you should continue to do this, and if it's even something that you should be doing or pursuing, every single person that you see online making money in this business has been through the exact same thing that you're going through. The only difference is they didn't let that thought stop them, right? Because it's the easiest thing in the world to do. The easiest thing in the world to do is give up. There is nothing easier than giving up. So the easiest thing, again, to do is to give up. So why would you do that? Unless you want the easiest possible outcome, why would you ever give up, right? So an analogy that I like to think about is, it's a quote that I heard. I don't remember where it was from, but it basically says that I would rather live a life trying to be great yet fail than to accept and live a life of mediocrity. So that is a really great quote, because let's say you do this for the next 5 years and you somehow end up failing, right? The things you've learned along the way is going to be worth not giving up anyway, right? So let's say in 5 years you fail. Okay, you accept defeat, whatever you want to call it. All the things that you've learned being self-employed, trying to chase greatness, and all these different things is going to be worth it. So even if you don't become a millionaire, and even if you don't achieve all the goals that you have, the things that you've learned from the markets and from doing all of this is going to be worth it nonetheless for your future life. So let's say you want to go into business. I guarantee that what you've gone through in the past 5 years is going to benefit that way more than if you had just went to college like everybody else or whatever it might be, right? So even if you end up failing, it's still going to be worth it, because you are going to learn so many new things about yourself. You have so much more knowledge when it comes to money management, risk management, and all these different things, which is required in any industry if you want to be a self-employed individual. So even if you fail, it's still going to be worth it. So there's no reason not to continue. It's not like, you've spent 5 years trying to perfect this craft and then you fail and then it's just all been a waste of time. That's not how it works, right? It will not be a waste of time. It never will be. Now, when you think about it, right? If you think about, and it's not just trading, it's any business, right? The only thing that separates you from somebody who has succeeded is that he did not give up. Okay. Now, that's literally it. Stay consistent. Don't give up. That's the formula to success in any industry. Now, if you give up, you've already screwed up the formula, right? So let's say you pursue this business of trading and then you decide to give up. Well, then what makes you think you're going to be able to do it in any other business, right? Because they're all hard. They're all going to take a long time. You're going to have the same exact doubts no matter what industry you decide to pursue a career in. So it just does not make sense to give up unless you are a weak-minded person. Now, what I mean by that is the way that I go about my life is whenever there's anything in life that I want to do, if somebody else has done it before me, well, then I'm capable of doing that same thing. So it does not make any sense for me to give up because I know I'm capable of doing it as long as somebody else has done it before me. And if you are not approaching life with this mentality, you're doing it wrong. So no matter what business I go into, no matter what sport I go into, no matter what I do in my life, I don't think anything is impossible. Because if somebody else has done it, that kind of proves that it's not impossible. And these people are not, gifted with something which I'm not. right? So if these people are able to do it, what makes me think that I can't, right? Now, I still get those thoughts, right? Even though I understand and know like deep within me that I am able to do these things, I will still question, is this worth it? Is it worth the stress? Is it worth the doubt? Is it worth the, you know, time and effort it takes? I will still get all these thoughts, but I just don't let them consume me, right? I don't let them overtake me. I will never base a decision off of these thoughts. Never, right? So that's the most important part, is understanding and accepting that you are going to get these thoughts that you are having right now. And you're not just going to get them in this industry, you're going to get them in any other industry that you decide to pursue a career in, right? So it's not just this industry. It doesn't matter what you do. So you might sit here and think, oh, well, I've been doing trading for a year and a half now. I'm not really seeing any results. I see all these people on TikTok that are doing very well in e-com. So let me start my own e-com brand, right? Then you start your own e-com brand. It's just as hard. It takes just as long time. And a year into e-com, you start thinking, yeah, well, maybe this isn't for me either. I'm not really seeing any results. And I'm actually seeing so many people on social media doing very well with a social media management agency. So let me go ahead and do that. And it just repeats over and over again because you're not sticking with one thing. What is wrong with this generation is that people don't understand what or the time it takes to create any sort of wealth. Okay. So if I told you, it takes 5 years to start earning a lot of money in trading, a lot of people would say, well, that's a really long time. When in reality, it's not a long time at all. 5 years in the grand scheme of things is nothing. In fact, I would say that's a get rich quick. Even though it's not quick, it's still extremely quick compared to back in the day, right? It is not a long time when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. And so, haven't been here for a year, let's say you've been trading for a year, right? And you haven't really seen any results yet, that's so normal. There's nothing that could be any more normal than that. You're not supposed to have it all figured out 1 year in. I'm 5 years in. I don't have it all figured out, right? You're never actually going to have it figured out, I don't think, first of all. And you're definitely not supposed to have any results 1 year in, 2 years in, right? I think the statistic is 3 years to even begin being profitable in this industry, right? And the same goes for any other business. In fact, you could search it up on Google. It takes businesses around 3 years to become profitable, right? That's just to flip it from being red to green. So for the first 3 years, these businesses are losing money. And these are regular businesses like, a storefront business, an e-com brand, whatever it might be. On average, it takes a business 3 years to become profitable, which means for the first 3 years, these people are losing money, right? If you give up 2 years in, well, then what are you doing, right? You're not even giving it the average time it takes, right? It could take you longer, right? But you're not even giving it the average time it's going to take. And the same with trading. I would say on average 3 years, right? But you're not even giving it the average, which is insane, right? So how can you even think about giving up when you haven't even given it the average time it takes? That's crazy. And the thing is, right? I heard Max Holloway say this at one point, how can you even give up, right? Because that's the only way to make sure that you are a certified loser, right? If I don't give up but I fail, well, then I'm a winner in my book, and then that's all that matters. But if I give up, I'm just a certified loser, right? And that's true. Why would you want to do that? You have to look at it this way, right? Let's say you're 20 years old, you pursue trading for 5 years. So when you're 25 and you figure out, this is not for me, I've given it enough time and effort, I'm going to stop, right? Okay, fair enough at that point. What you do is you return to the life which everybody else is living. So your worst case scenario is everybody else's regular life. So there's no reason not to pursue it because your worst case scenario is what everybody else is doing, right? So why would you give up? Why not give it everything you have for as long as possible? Because the worst thing that happens is that you live the exact same life like everybody else, right? So my worst case scenario is their best case scenario. My worst case scenario is that I go to university, I study, I get a degree, and I get a job. That's their best case scenario, right? And that's my worst case scenario. So why in the world would I give up when my worst case scenario is their best case scenario? Does that make any sense? You do not even have to be smart to be a millionaire, right? You don't have to have an above average IQ. You don't have to be academically doing well. You don't have to be super smart at all. And there's many millionaires that you are way smarter than, and I guarantee it, right? The difference is discipline, consistency, and stuff like that. That's literally the only thing that separates you from somebody else, right? So all you have to do is keep going until you develop those same traits as the people you inspire to be, right? Because you're no different and they're no different. It's not like they were born, smarter than you. They were born with different gifts or talents. No, they just did it for long enough to the point where they developed these traits that you need in order to be successful. And you are trying to give up before you've developed those traits. And you're never going to be successful, right? So it all comes down to consistency, belief in yourself, and just not giving up, right? But it's hard. It can be really, really difficult. I understand that from a mental perspective. I've been there too. I've had I've been in drawdown mentally, if that makes sense, many, many times throughout my career. But again, as I've said, you're going to experience that no matter what career you decide to pursue, if it's something out of the ordinary, right? It's not just all sunshine and rainbows. When you decide to do this digital nomad life or self-employment or entrepreneurship, whatever it might be, there are so many positives, but there are also negatives, just like anything else in life. When you decide to pursue entrepreneurship, when you succeed, you have no roof in terms of how much money you can make. You have location freedom depending on your business. You likely have way more time around your hands and you can manage your time the way that you want, right? You have all these things as positives, and then the negatives are obviously going to be doubt and all these different things, right? But you simply can't have positive without negatives. The same with a job, right? You have positives like, security, all these different things, and the negatives are obviously no location freedom on all these different things, right? So there's always a positive and there's always a negative. All you have to do is figure out what positive do I want and what negative don't I want, right? So if you can't handle the uncertainty and the doubt and the mental battles that you have to go through in order to be an entrepreneur, well, then maybe a regular job is just better for you, right? Because it's going to be there because it's a part of being an entrepreneur. It's one of the negatives. Just like location freedom is one of the negatives of having a job, right? You don't have location freedom, so that's a negative from having a job, which is a positive on the entrepreneur side because you have location freedom, right? So there's no positive without negative. You just have to choose which one you think is a better fit for you, essentially, right? My point is, no matter what you decide to do, e-com, SMMA, trading, crypto, whatever it might be, the same exact thoughts you're having now, you're going to have in that business as well. So if that's the reason you're quitting, that's the wrong reason. Unless you are literally trying to quit everything and go pursue a normal career in biology or whatever you want to do, then be my guest, right? But if your dream is to do something on your own, don't quit because it's tough mentally. Because no matter where you go, it's going to be tough mentally. Okay? Now, again, what I want you to take away from this video, if anything, is believe in yourself. Because all the people that you look up to are no different from you. And all the doubts that you're having now, they once had. So there's no difference between you and them, except they've done it longer and they didn't quit. So stop thinking that you can't achieve the things that they have achieved because they're no different. In fact, a lot of them are probably not as smart as you, right? So that's it. They're not special. You're not special. You can do anything you put your mind to. You simply have to go get it. And that's it. Don't overthink it. Don't doubt yourself. Don't compare yourself. Just keep going forward. And when you take a step back, you take two forward, right? Because you are going to take steps back. And you might even fall down the staircase. But then you get up, then you walk up the stairs again, and then you take it from there, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this little talk with me. It was simply just me coming on here and talking about things I might have wanted to hear when I was in a similar position that you're currently in. And just because I now do this full time and have done it for a while, that doesn't mean that I don't have those same mental struggles, right? I still think, is there any longevity in this for me? Is it worth the mental pain? Is it worth the stress? All these things are still worries that I constantly have, but I learn how to battle them and I don't let them consume me, right? And that's exactly what you need to do as well. So thank you a lot for watching. Let me know if you enjoy these raw videos where we just talk and there's no clips or edits or none of that. And yeah, don't give up. Unless you want to be a certified loser, of course. But if you're watching my videos and you're subscribed to me, then there's no way you could be a loser. Let's be honest here. So, all right. Thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.